It seems the WWE Universe had low expectations for Stomping Grounds, and given the terrible product that WWE has been delivering on TV and at shows like Super Showdown, who could blame them? Nevertheless, the WWE seems to have scored a hit. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at how the WWE proved us wrong, yet still got the fans furious at Stomping Grounds. Number 1. Things weren't looking good. There's no doubt that things were looking bad for Stomping Grounds, as the WWE seemed to have all but given up on promoting the show. Was the WWE so depressed by the show's pathetic ticket sales that they didn't think they should even bother? Well, that's doubtful. The WWE didn't promote many of the matches until just 1 or 2 weeks before the event. To make things worse, the 2 World Championship matches where WWE Champion Kofi Kingston faced Dolph Ziggler and Universal Champion Seth Rollins faced Baron Corbin generated zero interest, as both Corbin and Ziggler were seen as having no chance of winning the titles. Things were looking bleak for Stomping Grounds, but as reported online and mentioned in an earlier video, some in the WWE looked at this pay-per-view as a chance to start over, hopefully regaining some of the fans' trust that the WWE can deliver an entertaining product. And they did this with number 2, showcasing some lesser known talent. Anyone who watches 205 Live on a regular basis can attest to the roster's talent. The problem is that 205 Live superstars rarely get much exposure on the main roster or on pay-per-views. The triple threat match for the Cruiserweight Champion between champion Tony Nese and challengers Drew Gulak and Akira Tozawa was simply sensational, showcasing what makes the Cruiserweight division so unique. While it would have been better to see this trio competing on the regular show, it was a good start and it gave the fans a reason to think Stomping Grounds might not be the dog it looked like on paper. Number 3. Some incredible action by newcomers. While the Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch prevailed in a match against challenger Lacey Evans, the match showed that Evans is a star to watch in the future. Fans were skeptical of Evans' ability, as well as her strong push. She got the rub by putting forth such an impressive showing against the man Becky Lynch. Likewise, Ricochet showed why his fans were so excited to see him perform on the main roster, as based on his match against Samoa Joe, he's lived up to everyone's expectations, and a Ricochet reign as US Champion could be the start of a memorable career in the WWE. Number 4. Going with some unpredictable finishes. While it was disappointing to see Samoa Joe's US title reign end so quickly, Ricochet's win surprised many fans, as did Owens and Zayn defeating the New Day's Xavier Woods and Big E. While hotshot booking is rarely good, neither case was hotshot booking, and instead set the stage for a continued program between the New Day and KO and Zayn, as well as a new program for Ricochet. The WWE also avoided any hotshot booking, like having Lesnar successfully cash in his Money in the Bank contract. Ultimately, every match meant something, even if the World Championship matches didn't have the best challengers. Number 5. Teasing a big match. The WWE also did a good job building interest for a future program between Ricochet and AJ Styles. Fans are already salivating over the prospect of these 2 ring generals competing one-on-one, as they also wonder what, if any, role the Good Brothers will play in this program. As discussed before, the WWE seems to be working on improving in how it builds up future events. While Wrestlelamia isn't looking forward to Shane and Drew taking on Reigns yet again, it will hopefully mark the end of the program, as Reigns really needs to move on. Number 6. A surprising lack of filler. Sometimes WWE pay-per-views seem like glorified house shows, Super Showdown being a recent example, but Stomping Grounds featured matches that help further programs, showcase stars, or even end programs. Even the Eric Rowan Daniel Bryan vs Heavy Machinery match, which rumour has it was thrown together because the SmackDown Tag Team Champions were disgusted by the way the WWE wasn't promoting the titles, certainly did its job of reminding fans about the WWE's Tag Team division, while also giving them a look at Heavy Machinery in action against SmackDown's best. While Otis and Tucker came up short, they looked strong and the tag team match seemed like much more than filler. Sometimes a wrestler or tag team gets a title shot just to make them look good, even if they don't win the title at stake. This was a sign that there may be hope for the way WWE builds up new stars and uses exciting stars to do so. The WWE was also wise with how they used time, hyping an important NXT Women's Championship match with a video, and providing short but concise interviews before and after matches. Number 7. Showing some faith in BAYLEY. Kudos to the WWE for giving BAYLEY some more time with the SmackDown Women's Championship. While the idea of Raw's Alexa Bliss earning a shot against a SmackDown Live champion via the wildcard rule hurt the entire purpose of having 2 rosters and made the other women compete on SmackDown Live look inferior, the WWE used the match well to build up BAYLEY. Having just won the SmackDown Women's Championship, BAYLEY deserved a chance to show she's more than a cute face on the main roster, and so far, her reign as champion has shown promise that she can match the success she achieved on NXT. Pitting BAYLEY against one of the WWE's best workers allowed her to display her own in-ring skills and win over Little Miss Bliss by demonstrating BAYLEY is no fluke champion. With any luck, the WWE will focus on the SmackDown Women's roster to provide some capable opponents for the huggable one. In turn, Becky Lynch should focus on Raw roster contenders, while BAYLEY defends her title against the best the Blue brand has to offer. Number 8. Digging down deep to deliver. Neither Roman Reigns or Drew McIntyre are bad workers, but their program should have ended after WrestleMania 35. For whatever reason, the WWE has dragged it out for months, with the feud still going into Stomping Grounds. Shane McMahon's presence with McIntyre hasn't done anything to add to the program. In fact, it's turned off more than a few fans who are upset by Shane hogging the spotlight that should be saved for active WWE superstars. Going into Stomping Grounds, fans were curious to see what the Big Dog and the Scottish Psychopath could do that was any different from their previous encounters, particularly since the match had no special stipulations. Nonetheless, the two put on what Jim Ross would call a slobber knocker, if he wasn't in All Elite Wrestling now, as the two displayed a power-packed brawl from start to finish. Shane McMahon's presence helped as well, stacking the deck against Reigns and making his subsequent win ever so sweet. While it looks like this program isn't over just yet, we can only hope that Roman gets to move on to face a new opponent. With the wildcard rule still playing havoc with Raw and SmackDown rosters, that opponent could be anyone. Number 9. Polishing a turd. It's been said you can't polish a turd, but the WWE announcers deserve credit for talking up the steel cage match between Kofi Kingston and Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler's stock is so low that he doesn't deserve a WWE Championship match, yet here he is at Stomping Grounds and the people calling the match made every effort to hide Ziggler's reputation as a mid-card act. The first way was by stressing how the cage gave Ziggler 4 ways to win the match: pinning Kofi, submitting Kofi, escaping over the cage, and escaping through the cage door. Second, the announcers brought up Ziggler's familiarity wrestling the Dreadlock Dynamo, as well as Ziggler's impressive win-loss record over the WWE Champion, even though it was during an earlier period in Kofi's career. The WWE's announcers rightly get panned for some of the worst announcing heard since the days of Bruno Sammartino and Vince McMahon, but they did an outstanding job during the Kofi vs Ziggler match, actually enhancing the match rather than hurting it. And number 10. Lacey Evans as special guest referee. The special referee stipulation for the Baron Corbin vs Seth Rollins match was about the only intrigue surrounding the match, with the possible exception of whether or not Brock would cash in his Money in the Bank contract. Choosing Lacey Evans was admittedly a fun swerve that had to take many fans by surprise and pose the question how Rollins would deal with a biased referee he couldn't put his hands on. Evans' performance as a heel referee brought back memories of Nick Patrick from WCW, but it still wasn't enough to make the match seem like anything but a Raw main event. The match's stories was just as much about Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans as it was about Rollins defending the Universal Championship against Corbin. Lynch making the save for Seth was the ideal way to end things, even if fans saw it coming, and it even sets up a mixed tag team match involving Corbin and Evans versus Rollins and Lynch, or hopefully not another match between Evans and Lynch over the Men's Raw Women's Championship. Thankfully, the announcers didn't use Evans' nickname the Sassy Southern Belle in every sentence, unlike they did during her match against Becky Lynch, likely saving the sanity of fans watching at home. As you can see, Stomping Grounds outperformed and in many ways proved everyone wrong who predicted the show would be a dog. Not that we can blame them. While the show wasn't perfect, As the main event was still a dog despite Evans' role as special guest referee, it was surprisingly good and it demonstrated how good the WWE can be when they let their superstars wrestle rather than waste time with stupid skits and long-winded interviews. While some fans' expectations were so low that anything might have seemed like an improvement, the show did more than meet low expectations, providing a strong show from start to finish, even with a weak main event. Nonetheless, there were some fans who chanted AEW, boring and CM Punk chants later in the show, despite it being a strong performance. There'll always be fans who can't be pleased or people who like to draw attention to themselves rather than appreciating a good show. But there you have it guys, the incredible story of how Stomping Grounds proved everyone wrong, but still infuriated the fans. What did you think of the show? And were you pleasantly surprised or one of the furious fans? Be sure to leave your comments down below, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.